My beloved child, I sent this to you, and now you must receive it. You may think this is just another message, another video, another passing moment in your day. But I tell you with the tenderness of a father who sees all things, this is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not an accident of timing. I have arranged this moment with care. I have watched the quiet ache in your heart. I have heard the questions you were too tired to speak out loud. And now I am answering in a way you cannot ignore. There is something I have already released toward you. It has your name on it. It carries my peace, my strength, my direction, my love. Yet it remains unopened, not because I withheld it, but because you have not fully received it. And today, I am drawing you close to tell you gently, but firmly, it is time. You have been waiting for change, waiting for clarity, waiting for relief from the heaviness that presses on your chest at night. You have asked me for a sign, for confirmation, for assurance that I am still near and still working. My child, this is your sign. This is your confirmation. I sent this to you. I see how life has made you cautious. I see how disappointment has taught you to guard your heart. You have learned to expect less so you will not be hurt again. But in doing so, you have also struggled to receive the fullness of what I am placing in your hands. You whisper prayers for breakthrough, yet when it approaches, you hesitate. You long for healing, yet when it begins, you question if it is real. Listen to me now. The very hunger you feel is proof that I am moving. The stirring inside your spirit is not your imagination. It is my spirit drawing you closer. I would not awaken longing in you without preparing fulfillment. I would not call your heart forward if I had not already prepared the path beneath your feet. This message carries urgency, not because I am angry, not because you are late, but because the season is shifting. There are doors opening that require your trust. There are blessings unfolding that require your acceptance. I have extended my hand, and I will not force you to take it. Love never forces. Love invites. But there comes a moment when the invitation must be answered. My beloved child, you are not here by chance. I sent this to you at this very hour because you are ready for what comes next. The question is no longer whether I have spoken. The question is whether you will open your heart and receive what I have already sent. My beloved child, before you ever found this message, you called out to me. You may not remember the exact words. Some of them were not even complete sentences. Some were only tears falling onto a pillow in the dark. Some were sighs so deep that no language could carry them. But I understood every sound. I collected every tear. I listened to every trembling whisper that rose from your weary heart. There were nights when you felt alone, when the silence in your room felt heavier than any noise. You stared at the ceiling and wondered if anyone truly saw the battle inside you. You asked me questions like, "Are you still there? And do you still care?" You tried to be strong during the day, smiling for others, carrying responsibilities, meeting expectations. But when the world grew quiet, your heart spoke honestly. And I was there in every moment. You prayed for relief from the anxiety that wraps around your thoughts. You prayed for direction when decisions felt overwhelming. You prayed for healing from wounds you rarely talk about. You prayed for peace that would not disappear the moment trouble knocked at your door. My child, I heard you. I did not turn away. I did not delay out of neglect. I was working in ways you could not yet see. Sometimes you expect answers to arrive in dramatic ways, with thunder and sudden change. But often, my answers begin softly, like light entering through a small crack in a closed curtain. They begin as a gentle stirring in your spirit, They begin as a message crossing your path at the exact right time. They begin as a quiet assurance rising inside you that says, "You are not forgotten." When you prayed for strength, I began building resilience within you. When you prayed for clarity, I began aligning circumstances around you. When you prayed for love, I began reminding you of your worth. The answer was not always instant, but it was always in motion. Even when you felt nothing changing, I was shaping things beneath the surface, like roots growing deeper before a tree ever rises taller. There was a moment, not long ago, when you almost stopped praying the way you used to. You felt tired of asking, tired of hoping. Part of you wondered if it was easier to expect nothing than to risk disappointment again. Yet even then, a small part of your heart still reached toward me. That small reaching was enough. I do not measure your faith by its size. I honor it by its sincerity. This message you are hearing now is connected to those prayers. It is not separate from them. It is part of the response. I am reminding you that your words did not fall into empty space. They reached me, and I have been weaving answers together with precision and care. You asked for peace. I am sending you peace. You asked for guidance. I am sending you direction. You asked for reassurance that you matter. I am telling you now, you matter more than you know. Your life is not random. Your story is not overlooked. Every chapter, even the painful ones, is being gathered into something meaningful. My beloved child, sometimes when the answer begins to arrive, it feels unfamiliar. It does not look exactly like what you imagined. And because of that, you hesitate. But do not dismiss what you prayed for simply because it comes wrapped in a different form. Do not close your heart now that the door is starting to open. You prayed for this shift. You prayed for this breakthrough. You prayed for this reminder of my nearness. And now it stands before you. I am not reminding you of your prayers to shame you. I am reminding you so you can recognize the gift when it reaches your hands. You are not foolish for hoping. You are not weak for crying out. You are not forgotten in your waiting. I am a Father who listens, who responds, who moves with intention. And what I have begun in answer to your prayers, I will continue. So breathe, my child. Let your heart soften instead of brace itself. The very thing you whispered, for in the dark is stepping into the light. My beloved child, I want you to understand something that will change the way you see this moment. What you have been asking for is not still being prepared. It is not waiting on a distant shelf in heaven. It has already been sent. Your release has already happened. The answer has already left my hands. Now it rests before you, waiting to be received. Here is a difference between something being sent and something being received. Imagine a letter written with care, sealed with love, and addressed with your name written clearly across the front. It is carried across great distance, delivered right to your door. The sender has done everything necessary. The message inside holds comfort, direction, even provision. But if the envelope remains unopened on the table, the contents cannot change your life. The gift is present, yet unrealized. This is what I am showing you now. I have already sent peace into your situation. I have already released strength into your spirit. I have already spoken identity over your life. But you have been standing at the doorway of receiving, unsure if you are allowed to open what has been given. You question whether it is truly for you. You wonder if perhaps it was meant for someone stronger, someone more faithful, someone who has not stumbled the way you have. My child, when I send a gift, I do not mistake the address. What I release toward you carries your name with intention. I do not confuse you with another. I do not accidentally bless the wrong heart. If it has reached you, it is yours. Yet I see how you hesitate. Past disappointments have made you cautious. There were times when you believed relief was coming, only to face another setback. There were seasons when you hoped for change, and instead you endured more waiting. Those experiences taught you to guard yourself. They taught you to manage expectations. They taught you to prepare for less so the fall would not feel so sharp. But guarding your heart from pain has also made it harder to receive joy. You have been praying for open doors while quietly keeping your hands half closed. You have been asking for restoration while still holding tightly to old fears. You have been longing for reassurance while bracing yourself for rejection. My beloved child, I say this gently. You cannot fully receive with a guarded heart. Receiving requires trust. It requires the courage to believe that goodness can truly reach you. It requires you to unclench what fear had tightened. There is a spiritual rhythm woven into your life. I give, and you receive. I speak, and you believe. I send, and you open. This rhythm is not about earning. It is about relationship. A loving father delights in giving to his child, but he also delights in seeing the child open the gift with joy instead of suspicion. I am not asking you to force emotion. I am not demanding dramatic faith. I am inviting simple acceptance. A quiet whisper in your spirit that says, if you sent this for me, I will receive it. Consider how the sun rises each morning without asking permission. His light spills across the earth freely. Yet if someone closes every curtain and hides in darkness, the sun has not failed. It simply has not been welcomed in. In the same way, my provision has not been withheld. It is shining toward you even now. The gift has already been sent, my child. The peace you crave is closer than you think. The direction you seek is already unfolding step by step. The love you question has never stopped surrounding you. Do not leave the envelope unopened. Do not let fear return what grace has delivered. Stand still for a moment. Breathe. And with the simplest act of trust, open your heart. I have already sent what you need. Now, my beloved child, receive it. My beloved child, I see the hesitation in your heart. I see how you long for what I send, yet when it comes close, something inside you pulls back. You want peace, but when calm begins to settle, you brace yourself for the next storm. You want love, but when it reaches toward you, you question if it will last. You want restoration, yet when healing starts, you wonder if it is only temporary. You struggle to receive not because you are ungrateful, but because you have been hurt. There were moments in your life when you trusted fully and were disappointed. You believed promises that were not kept. You opened your heart and felt it mishandled. Over time, you built quiet defenses. Not walls anyone else could see clearly, but small internal barriers. You told yourself, do not expect too much. You learned to prepare for loss before it arrived. You convinced yourself that if you never hoped deeply, you would never hurt deeply. And while those defenses helped you survive certain seasons, they are now standing in the way of the very blessings you asked me for. You carry a quiet question inside, what if it doesn't last? Even when something good begins, you search for signs of its ending. When relief comes, you scan for the next disappointment. When I speak reassurance over you, you measure it against your past instead of trusting my present voice. My beloved child, I am not the source of your past wounds. I am the healer of them. Sometimes you project old experiences onto new opportunities. You assume that because someone else failed you, I will also. You assume that because a door once closed painfully, every door will close the same way. But I am not bound by what happened before. I am not limited by the patterns you have known. Another reason you struggle to receive is the quiet weight of unworthiness. There are things you regret, choices you wish you could undo, words you wish you can take back. You replay them in your mind and wonder if they disqualify you from blessing. You ask yourself, after everything, do I really deserve this? Listen carefully to me now. My gifts are not wages for perfection. They are expressions of love. A child does not earn a father's care by flawless behavior. The father gives because the child belongs to him. You belong to me. That has never changed. Your mistakes have never surprised me, and they have never diminished my desire to bless you. You also struggle to receive because receiving requires vulnerability. It means admitting you need help. It means accepting that you cannot control everything on your own. You have carried responsibility for so long that letting go feels unsafe. If you open your hands, you fear something might slip through your fingers. But what if opening your hands is the only way to hold what truly matters? Imagine someone who has been gripping heavy stones for years. Their hands ache, but they refuse to release the weight because it feels familiar. When I try to place something beautiful and life-giving into their palms, there is no space for it. The issue is not my willingness to give. It is the grip on what no longer serves them. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend the past did not hurt. I am not telling you to ignore wisdom you gained through hardship. I am simply inviting you to see that this moment is different. I am different from those who failed you. My timing is not meant to tease you. My promises are not fragile. You do not have to brace yourself with me. You do not have to earn my kindness. You do not have to prove that you are worthy enough to receive what I have already sent. Let the old defenses soften. Let the questions quiet. Let the fear loosen its grip, even if only a little at first. I am not here to reopen your wounds. I am here to heal them. And healing begins the moment you allow yourself to believe that goodness can finally reach you and stay. My beloved child, let me tell you a simple story. There was once a small child who loved his father deeply. One day, the father prepared a gift for him, something carefully chosen, something that would bring joy and comfort. The father called the child over and held out the gift with a warm smile. But the child did not reach for it. Instead, he stood still, his little hands clenched tightly at his sides. The father knelt down and gently asked, "Why will you not take what I am giving you?" The child looked down and whispered, "What if it is taken away? What if I break it? What if I do not deserve it?" And so the father remained there, gift extended, waiting patiently. Not angry, not offended, just waiting for the child to open his hands. My beloved child, you are that child more often than you realize. I stand before you with peace, with healing, with strength, with renewed purpose. I extend these gifts freely. Yet your hands are sometimes closed. Closed by fear. Closed by doubt. Closed by memories that taught you to protect yourself at all costs. When your hands are closed, it is not because you do not want what I offer. It is because you are afraid of losing it. You are afraid of hoping again. You are afraid that if you embrace joy, sorrow might follow even more sharply. So you tighten your grip on what is familiar, even if what is familiar is heavy and exhausting. Closed hands cannot receive. They also cannot rest. When you hold tightly to control, to past pain, to self-protection, your hands grow tired. Your spirit grows weary. You tell yourself that you are being strong, but deep inside, you are longing to release the weight. You are longing to trust that if you open your hands, I will not let you fall. The father in the story did not force the gift into the child's grip. Love does not force. It invites. It waits. It reassures. In the same way, I do not push my blessings upon you against your will. I call you gently. I remind you that what I offer is not fragile like the things that hurt you before. It is not temporary like the promises that were broken in your past. My gifts are steady because I am steady. Imagine the moment when the child finally loosens his fingers. Slowly and certainly, he opens his hands. The father places the gift there, and for a second, the child is afraid to look. But when he does, he sees something beautiful, something prepared with intention, something that proves he was thought of and cherished. That is what I desire for you, not fear, not suspicion, but the quiet realization that you are cherished. Open hands are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of trust. They say, I am willing to receive. They say, I believe goodness can come to me. They say, I will not let past pain dictate every future possibility. My beloved child, I know why your hands learned to close. I saw every disappointment. I witnessed every tear. I understand the instinct to guard your heart. But this is a new moment. I am not asking you to open your hands to the world. I am asking you to open them to me. You do not have to fling them wide in dramatic faith. Even the smallest unclenching matters. Even the slightest softening of your heart allows space for what I am placing before you. Right now, in the quiet of this moment, imagine yourself loosening your grip. Imagine releasing the stones you have been carrying. Resentment, fear, unworthiness, control. Feel the relief as your fingers relax. Feel the space that begins to form. That space is where my peace rests. That space is where my strength settles. That space is where healing begins. I am still here, kneeling before you with love in my eyes and blessing in my hands. I am not tired of waiting. I am not disappointed in your hesitation. I simply long for you to experience the fullness of what I have already prepared. Open your hands, my beloved child. I am ready to place the gift inside them. My beloved child, among all the gifts I have sent to you, one of the most precious is peace. Not the fragile kind that depends on perfect circumstances. Not the shallow calm that disappears the moment trouble knocks at your door. I sent you a deeper peace, one that can live inside you even when the world around you feels uncertain. You have been searching for peace and outcomes. You have told yourself, when the situation changes, then I will rest. You have believed, when the problem is solved, then I will breathe easily. But peace was never meant to wait for everything to be fixed. I sent it to you in the middle of the unfinished story. Look at your life honestly. There are still questions unanswered. There are still challenges you cannot fully control. Some relationships are still complicated. Some goals are still forming. Yet even here, even now, peace is available to you. I did not delay it until every storm passed. I released it while the winds were still blowing. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the presence of my assurance. Imagine a small boat on a restless sea. The waves rise and fall, and the sky shifts between light and shadow. From a distance it looks unstable. But inside the boat, there is an anchor dropped deep beneath the surface, holding it steady. The sea may move, but the anchor keeps it from drifting away. My peace is that anchor within you. You often measure peace by how you feel in a single moment. If anxiety rises, you assume peace has left. If worry creeps in, you believe you have failed to receive it. But peace is not erased by a passing emotion. It is a foundation beneath your emotions. It remains even when feelings fluctuate. There have been times recently when you felt a brief, unexpected calm. Perhaps it came during a quiet drive. Perhaps it came while listening to something that touched your heart. Perhaps it came in a simple breath when you paused long enough to be still. That was not random. That was not accidental. That was my peace gently reminding you that it is already near. You do not have to manufacture this peace. You do not have to earn it by being strong all the time. You do not have to silence every anxious thought before you are allowed to feel it. You simply have to allow it to settle. Sometimes you resist peace because you fear being unprepared. You think if you stay tense, you will be ready for whatever goes wrong. You think constant alertness protects you. But living in constant tension only drains your spirit. It does not prevent storms. It only exhausts you before they arrive. My beloved child, rest is not a responsibility. Calm is not denial. Trust is not weakness. When you allow peace to fill your heart, you are not ignoring reality. You are choosing to believe that I am greater than the uncertainty. Right now, take a slow breath. Feel the air enter your lungs. Feel your shoulders soften, even slightly. That simple act is an act of receiving. It is you saying, I will not carry what I was not meant to carry. I have already sent peace into your spirit. It is not far away. It is not reserved for some future version of you who has everything together. It is here for you as you are. In the middle of growth, in the middle of questions, in the middle of becoming. When anxious thoughts rise, do not panic about the anxiety itself. Gently remind your heart, peace hath been sent to me. Let that truth repeat inside you. Let it become stronger than the noise around you. You are not meant to live in constant inner turmoil. You are not meant to be ruled by fear of what might happen next. You are meant to walk with a steady heart, knowing that I am near, knowing that I am guiding you, knowing that even if circumstances shift, my presence does not. My beloved child, receive the peace I have already given. Let it anchor you. Let it steady you. Let it remind you that you are held, even now. My beloved child, along with peace, I have also sent you strength. Not loud strength that shouts for attention. Not the kind that boasts or proves itself to others. I have placed within you a quiet, steady strength that rises exactly when you need it. You often misunderstand what strength looks like. You think it must feel powerful and fearless all the time. You think it means never doubting, never trembling, never feeling tired. But true strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the courage to stand even while your knees shake. It is the decision to take one more step when you feel you have reached your limit. There have been moments when you surprised yourself. Times when you thought you could not endure another day, yet somehow you did. Times when you believed you would break under pressure, yet you found a way to keep going. That was not an accident. It was the strength I placed inside you rising to the surface. Imagine a tree during a storm. From the outside, it appears fragile as the wind pushes against it. Its branches sway. Its leaves are tossed in every direction. But beneath the ground, its roots stretch deep and wide, gripping the earth firmly. The storm may bend the tree, but it does not uproot it. The roots are unseen, yet they are the source of its endurance. My beloved child, your strength is like those roots. Much of it is hidden. You do not always see it clearly. Others may not notice it. But it is there, holding you steady in ways you cannot fully measure. You have endured disappointment and still chosen hope. You have faced uncertainty and still taken responsibility for your life. You have felt fear and still shown up for your obligations. Do not dismiss these as small things. They are evidence of resilience growing inside you. There are days when you tell yourself, "I am so tired of being strong." I hear that confession. I know that carrying responsibility can feel heavy. I know that holding yourself together when others lean on you can feel overwhelming. But strength does not mean you must do everything alone. The strength I send includes the ability to lean on me. Sometimes strength looks like resting instead of pushing. Sometimes it looks like saying no when you are overwhelmed. Sometimes it looks like admitting you need help. Do not confuse exhaustion with failure. Resting in my presence is also an expression of strength. You worry that you are not strong enough for what lies ahead. You look at future challenges and question whether you can handle them. But you do not need tomorrow's strength today. I send strength in daily portions. When a new challenge rises, new strength will rise with it. Think of how you have grown over time. The situations that once crushed you no longer have the same power. The fears that once controlled you have begun to loosen their grip. This growth did not happen overnight. It happened quietly, layer by layer, as you continued moving forward even when it was hard. My beloved child, I did not create you fragile and alone. I formed you with capacity. I designed your heart to endure, to adapt, to rise again after falling. Even in your lowest moments, there has been a spark inside you that refused to be extinguished. That spark is not random. It is my strength woven into your spirit. Do not measure your strength only by your feelings. Feelings shift. Strength remains. It may be quiet, but it is steady. It may not always feel dramatic, but it is faithful. Right now, as you listen, I want you to remember a time you overcame something you thought you could not. Let that memory remind you of what already lives within you. Let it testify that you are capable of more than your fear suggests. I have already sent you strength for this season. You are not facing your challenges empty-handed. Beneath your doubts, beneath your weariness, there is resilience taking root. Trust it. Lean into it. And when you feel weak, remember that my strength does not fade. My beloved child, you are stronger than you think, because I am the one sustaining you. My beloved child, there are places in your heart that still ache when touched. Memories that seem distant during the day but return quietly at night. Words spoken over you that left marks deeper than anyone realized. I have seen every wound, even the ones you hide behind a composed face. And I want you to know this with certainty. I have sent you healing. Healing does not always arrive like a sudden flash of light that erases pain in a single moment. Often, it comes like the slow warmth of morning sunlight after a long, cold night. It begins gently. It seeps into the cracks. It restores feeling where there was numbness. It softens what had been hardened by disappointment. You have carried certain hurts for so long that they feel like part of your identity. You tell yourself, "This is just how I am now." You have adjusted your expectations, guarded your heart, and learned to function around the pain instead of confronting it. But surviving around a wound is not the same as being healed from it. There were times when someone's rejection made you question your worth. Times when betrayal made you doubt your ability to trust. Times when failure made you feel defined by a single mistake. Those experiences shaped you, but they do not define you. They are chapters, not the entire story. Healing begins when you allow me into the places you try to manage alone. Sometimes you avoid those inner rooms because you fear what you will find there. You fear that reopening old pain will only make it worse. But unhealed wounds do not disappear simply because they are ignored. They quietly influence your thoughts, your reactions, your relationships. I am not inviting you to relive your pain to hurt you again. I am inviting you to bring it into my light so it can finally lose its power. Imagine a cracked piece of pottery. At first glance, it looks ruined. But when careful hands fill the cracks with gold, the broken lines become part of its beauty. The vessel is not thrown away. It is restored with greater depth and meaning. In the same way, the fractures in your story can become places where light shines through. You may ask, why did I have to go through it at all? Some answers unfold slowly. But know this, I was with you in every painful moment. Even when you felt abandoned, I was near. Even when you questioned my presence, I was holding you in ways you could not see. Healing also includes forgiving yourself. You have replayed certain mistakes again and again, wishing you could change them. You speak to yourself with hardness that you would never use toward someone you love. My beloved child, you are allowed to grow beyond your past. You are allowed to learn and move forward. Shame is not a life sentence. The healing I send to you is not rushed. It respects your pace. It honors your process. There will be days when you feel strong and free, and days when old emotions resurface unexpectedly. Do not interpret those moments as failure. Healing is not always a straight line. It is a journey of gradual restoration. Right now, I am gently touching the areas you have protected. I am not tearing down your defenses without care. I am inviting you to lower them in my presence. You do not need to impress me with strength. You do not need to pretend you are unaffected. Bring me the raw truth of your heart. I have already sent healing into your life. You may not see the full result yet, but the process has begun. Every time you choose hope over bitterness, healing grows. Every time you allow yourself to feel without running away, healing deepens. Every time you believe you are still worthy of love, healing expands. My beloved child, you are not destined to remain wounded. You are destined to be restored. The pain you endured will not have the final word. I do. Receive the healing I have sent. Let it enter slowly, gently, faithfully. You are being made whole, even now. My beloved child, I know how deeply you desire clarity. You have stood at crossroads, unsure which way to move. You have weighed decisions in your mind until they felt heavier than the choices themselves. You have asked me, sometimes with frustration, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? Hear me now with calm assurance. I have sent you direction. You often expect direction to arrive as a full map spread out before you, every detail visible, every turn explained. But I rarely guide you that way. If you could see every step at once, you might rely more on the map than on me. Instead, I light the path one step at a time. Imagine walking through a dark valley with only a small lantern in your hand. The lantern does not reveal the entire journey. It shows just enough ground ahead for your next step to be steady. As you move forward, more of the path becomes visible. That is how my direction works in your life. There have already been subtle nudges in your spirit. Gentle impressions that felt like peace when you considered one option, and tension when you considered another. You have sensed certain doors closing, even when you tried to push them open. You have felt unexpected opportunities arise that stirred something hopeful within you. These are not coincidences. They are part of the guidance I am weaving around you. Sometimes you hesitate because you fear making the wrong choice. You believe that one misstep could ruin everything. But my beloved child, I am not so fragile that your imperfect decisions can destroy my plans. Even when you choose imperfectly, I am able to redirect you. I am able to transform detours into lessons and delays into preparation. You do not need to wait for absolute certainty before moving. If you wait for fear to disappear completely, you may never begin. Instead, look for the quiet sense of alignment in your spirit. Look for the option that allows peace to rest more naturally within you. I have already sent signals to your heart. Direction also requires trust. Sometimes I guide you away from what feels comfortable toward something that stretches you. You may feel resistance because growth is unfamiliar. But discomfort does not always mean you are off course. Sometimes it means you are stepping into a new level of purpose. Think of a young eagle learning to fly. A nest feels safe and known. But staying there forever would prevent the eagle from discovering its strength. The push toward the open sky feels frightening at first. Yet within that stretch lies the ability to soar. In the same way, when I guide you toward change, it is not to unsettle you without reason. It is to lead you into greater capacity. You may not have every answer right now, but you have enough for this moment. Pay attention to what feels consistent rather than dramatic. My direction is often steady rather than loud. It does not need to shout to be true. Also remember this: direction is not only about career or location. It is about who you are becoming. I'm shaping your character, your patience, your compassion. Sometimes the direction you seek externally is tied to internal growth. As your heart matures, the path ahead becomes clearer. My beloved child, release the pressure to figure out your entire future in one day. Trust the step before you. Trust the wisdom you are gaining. Trust that I am aware of every detail of your life. I have already sent direction into your story. The path is not chaotic even if it feels uncertain. It is unfolding with purpose. When you pause and listen, you will sense my guidance more clearly. Take the next step with courage. I am walking with you, lighting the way, ensuring that even in moments of uncertainty, you are never truly lost. My beloved child, above all else, beyond peace, beyond strength, beyond healing and direction, I have sent you my love again. You may wonder why I say again. It is because my love for you is not a single moment in time. It is not a one-time declaration that fades with circumstance. It is constant. It is renewed every morning. It is steady even when your feelings shift. Yet there are seasons when you forget it, when life grows loud and distractions cloud your awareness. So I send it again, and again, and again. You have questioned whether you are still worthy of love after certain failures. You have doubted whether you are still chosen after certain delays. You have wondered if my affection depends on your performance. Let me quiet that fear right now. My love for you does not rise and fall with your achievements. It is not strengthened by your success or weakened by your struggle. It flows from who I am, not from what you do. When you felt overlooked, I loved you. When you felt misunderstood, I loved you. When you turned away in frustration or doubt, I loved you still. There has never been a day when my heart moved away from you. Imagine a lighthouse standing firm on a rocky shore. Storms crash against it. Winds howl around it. Waves rise and fall. Yet its light continues to shine, guiding ships safely through darkness. My love is like that lighthouse. It does not flicker when conditions worsen. It does not retreat when you struggle. It remains steady, offering guidance and warmth even when you cannot see clearly. You were created with intention. You were formed with care. There are qualities within you that reflect my own heart. Your compassion, your longing for justice, your desire for connection. Even your sensitivity, which you sometimes see as weakness, is evidence of depth. I placed these things inside you on purpose. There have been moments when you accepted love from others but secretly believed it would not last. You braced yourself for abandonment. You waited for affection to fade. But my beloved child, my love is not temporary. It is not borrowed. It is not fragile. When I say I send my love again, I mean I am reminding you of what has always been true. You belong. You are not an afterthought. You are not tolerated. You are cherished. Let this truth sink deeper than your doubts. Let it speak louder than your past. Let it soften the places in you that have grown guarded. And now, as this love flows through this message, I want you to understand something more. When you receive my love, you become a light for others who are still searching in the dark. When you open your heart to what I am pouring into you, it does not stop with you. It moves outward. It reaches the weary, the anxious, the forgotten. My beloved child, if this message has touched your heart, if you feel my love stirring something alive within you, then do not keep that light to yourself. This is the moment where your response becomes part of the miracle. I say to you, sow into the work that carries my voice to the hurting. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you, and I speak that promise over you now as a living word. When you release your support through Super Thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description, and even before your eyes in QR form, you are not helping a platform. You are opening doors for souls to encounter me. Let your giving be a seed in fertile soil, a river that widens the reach of my love, a flame that keeps this light burning. Do not hesitate when you feel the stirring to act, for that stirring is my invitation. What you place in my hands, I multiply. What you sow in faith, I return in harvest. I bless the giver with provision, with peace, with increase in ways seen and unseen. Step into this holy partnership now. Receive my love, and let your obedience release it further. My beloved child, how many times have you asked me for a sign? How many times have you whispered, if you are really speaking to me, show me clearly? You have looked at numbers on clocks, at unexpected messages, as sudden changes in circumstance, searching for confirmation that I am near and that I am guiding you. I do not criticize you for this. The desire for reassurance comes from a heart that wants to trust. But listen carefully now. You have been asking for a sign while overlooking the one already in front of you. This moment is not random. These words reaching you are not accidental. The timing of this message aligning with your questions, your struggles, your quiet prayers, this is not coincidence. You asked for confirmation, and I am answering. Yet part of you still wonders, is this really for me? My beloved child, stop looking past the answer because it does not look dramatic enough. You expect signs to shake the ground beneath you. You expect them to come with thunder or unmistakable spectacle. But often, my clearest signs come wrapped in calm clarity. They come in words that resonate so deeply you cannot ignore them. They come in a sense of being seen and understood beyond logic. Have you noticed how certain sentences feel as if they were written specifically for your situation? How certain thoughts seem to speak directly into the questions you have been carrying? That is not vague encouragement. That is personal. You keep asking me, are you with me? And I keep responding, yes, I am. You ask, do you see what I am facing? And I say, I see it fully. You ask, am I moving in the right direction? And I remind you of the peace and strength I have already sent. The reason you continue searching for more signs is not because I have been silent. It is because doubt whispers that what you have received is not enough. Doubt tells you to wait for something bigger, louder, clearer. But faith grows when you respond to what is already given. Imagine someone standing in a doorway, asking for light while holding a lamp in their own hand. They keep pleading for illumination, unaware that they are already carrying it. In the same way, you have been carrying confirmation in your heart, yet still asking if it will come. I am not frustrated with you. I understand the caution that has grown from past confusion. But I am inviting you now to shift your posture. Instead of constantly asking, "Is this a sign?" begin asking, "How will I respond to what I have already received?" The more you act on the guidance I give, the clearer your path becomes. The more you trust the peace I place within you, the stronger your confidence grows. You do not need endless reassurance to move forward. You need willingness. My beloved child, this message itself is a sign of my nearness. It is a reminder that I speak in ways you can understand. It is evidence that you are not navigating life alone. You are being guided, even when the guidance feels simple. Do not delay your obedience, waiting for something more spectacular. Do not ignore the gentle clarity rising in your spirit because you expect a louder voice. I am already speaking. Let this be enough for today. Let this confirmation settle your restless thoughts. You asked me to make it clear, and I have. Now trust what you have heard. Trust the peace that follows. Trust the strength that rises within you. Stop searching beyond this moment. I am here. I am guiding you. And this, right now, is your sign. My beloved child, you have been standing in front of a door, wondering if it will ever open. You have knocked with prayer. You have waited with hope. You have even prepared yourself for disappointment, just in case it remained closed. But I want you to see something clearly now. The door is already open. The reason you have not stepped through is not because I have denied you access. It is because you are unsure if you are truly allowed to enter. You have questioned your readiness. You have wondered if you are qualified enough, strong enough, healed enough. You have told yourself that perhaps one more improvement, one more breakthrough, one more sign would make you worthy to walk forward. But my beloved child, if I waited for you to feel perfectly ready, you would remain waiting forever. Doors I open are not based on your perfection. They are based on my purpose. There are opportunities before you that you have been hesitant to embrace. A conversation you need to have. A decision you need to make. A step you need to take. You keep asking for confirmation that the way is clear, but I have already moved what was blocking you. The hesitation you feel is not the door being closed. It is your fear whispering that you might fail once you walk through. Imagine someone standing at the entrance of a beautiful garden. The gate is wide open. Sunlight pours through. The path is visible. Yet the person remains outside, pacing back and forth, wondering if they should go in. They ask, what if I do not belong there? What if I step inside and something goes wrong? Meanwhile, the invitation stands unquestioned. That is where you are in this season. You are not being rejected. You are being invited. The door that once seemed impossible to open has already shifted. Circumstances have aligned. Inner strength has grown. Healing has begun. Peace hath been sent. Yet you still look at the threshold with uncertainty. My beloved child, I do not open doors to trap you. I open them to expand you. I open them to lead you into growth, into purpose, into deeper trust. Yes, there may be challenges on the other side. Growth always requires courage. But you will not walk alone. Sometimes you cling to the familiar hallway behind you because at least you know its shape. Even if it was narrow, even if it was dimly lit, it was known. The open doorway ahead feels brighter, wider, and therefore more vulnerable. Stepping through means leaving behind the comfort of what you have mastered. But what if the discomfort you feel is simply the stretching of your capacity? I have not brought you this far to leave you at the entrance. I have prepared you more than you realize. The peace you have been receiving is to steady you as you move forward. The strength you have discovered within yourself is to carry you through new responsibilities. The healing unfolding in your heart is to ensure you do not bring old wounds into new spaces. The door is open because it is time. You do not need to write. You do not need to leap without thought. But you do need to stop convincing yourself that you are locked out. You are not standing before rejection. You are standing before opportunity. Right now, picture yourself placing your hand on the edge of that doorway. Feel the solid frame beneath your fingers. Notice that it does not resist you. Notice that it does not push you back. It stands open, steady, waiting for your step. My beloved child, trust that if I have opened this path, I will sustain you within it. You are not unworthy. You are not unprepared. You are not alone. The door is already open. All that remains is for you to walk through. My beloved child, you have been carrying more than you were ever meant to hold. Some of the weight on your shoulders does not belong to you, yet you have claimed it as your responsibility. You carry other people's expectations as if they were commands written by me. You carry guilt for outcomes you could not control. You carry anxiety about the future as though it is your job to manage every possible result. I see how tired you are. There is a heaviness in your spirit that has grown slowly over time. It did not arrive all at once. It built layer by layer. One disappointment, one responsibility, one silent pressure after another. You told yourself you could handle it. You told yourself being strong meant never putting anything down. But strength does not mean carrying what is not yours. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a large pack on their back. At first, it contains only what is necessary. But along the way, the traveler begins picking up stones. Stones of regret, stones of comparison, stones of fear, stones of trying to please everyone. With each mile, the pack grows heavier. The traveler forgets what was essential and what was added out of habit. My beloved child, you have picked up stones that I never placed in your pack. You are not responsible for fixing every broken situation around you. You are not required to meet every expectation others project onto you. You are not obligated to solve problems that are beyond your reach. Some burdens were never assigned to you by me. You feel responsible for keeping everyone happy. You feel responsible for preventing conflict. You feel responsible for outcomes that depend on more than just your effort. And when things do not turn out as you hoped, you blame yourself. But listen to me carefully. You are accountable for your obedience, not for controlling every result. There is freedom in understanding this. You are called to act with integrity, to love sincerely, to make wise choices. But you are not called to carry the weight of the entire world. That position is already filled. When you try to hold everything together on your own, you slowly exhaust yourself. Your thoughts become restless. Your sleep becomes shallow. Your joy becomes distant. You may not even realize how much tension you are holding until you pause long enough to breathe. Right now, I invite you to examine the burdens you are carrying. Which ones came from fear? Which ones came from comparison? Which ones came from trying to earn approval? And which ones truly belong to your calling? Some of what you carry is simply habit. You are used to anticipating problems before they arise. You are used to preparing for worst-case scenarios. You are used to being the dependable one. But being dependable does not mean being overloaded. Imagine setting down a heavy bag you have carried for miles. At first, your shoulders feel strange without the weight. You almost reach to pick it up again because the heaviness feels familiar. But as your muscles relax, you realize how tight they had been. You realize how much energy was spent simply enduring. My beloved child, lay down what I did not give you. Release the pressure to control every outcome. Release the guilt for what was never fully in your hands. Release the expectation that you must prove your worth through constant effort. When you set down what is not yours, you make room for what truly is. You make room for peace to deepen. You make room for clarity to sharpen. You make room for joy to return. You were not created to live under constant strain. You were created to walk with trust. I am strong enough to hold what overwhelms you. I am wise enough to handle what confuses you. I am present in the areas where you feel powerless. My beloved child, you do not have to carry it all. Put down the stones. Straighten your back. Breathe deeply. The weight you carry is not yours anymore. My beloved child, there were seasons when you felt invisible. Times when your prayer seemed to echo back in silence. Moments when you wondered if you had somehow slipped from my attention. You looked at others and thought they were moving forward while you remained still. You questioned whether I had passed over your name. But hear me now with unwavering certainty, you were never forgotten. Silence is not absence. Waiting is not neglect. What feels like delay to you is often preparation unfolding beneath the surface. I have never lost sight of you, not for a single breath of your life. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. From above, it looks as if nothing is happening. The ground appears unchanged. There is no visible growth. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is taking place. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Structure is being established. The unseen work is just as vital as the visible bloom. You have been in a season like that seed. You compared your timeline to others and felt behind. You measured your progress against external success and felt overlooked. You saw doors open for others and wondered why yours remained closed. Yet you could not see what I was cultivating in you beneath the surface. You were being strengthened in patience. You were learning discernment. You were building resilience that would sustain you later. The waiting was not empty. It was active, though quiet. There were moments when you whispered, "Have you forgotten me?" Those words did not offend me. They revealed your longing. They revealed your desire to feel seen. And I have always seen you. I saw you when you kept going despite discouragement. I saw you when you showed kindness even while hurting. I saw you when you resisted bitterness and chose hope again. I saw the tears no one else noticed. I saw the courage it took for you to try once more after disappointment. You are not one among billions lost in a crowd. You are known individually. Your story matters. Your journey is not random or overlooked. Sometimes I allow seasons of quiet because they deepen your roots. If every prayer were answered immediately, you might never learn to trust beyond sight. If every desire were fulfilled instantly, you might miss the growth that happens in endurance. But waiting does not mean you are forgotten. It means the timing is still unfolding. Imagine an artist working on a painting. From a distance, it may look incomplete. Certain sections see what I do. Colors appear unbalanced, but the artist sees the full vision. Each brushstroke is intentional. Each pause has purpose. The painting is not abandoned simply because it is not finished. My beloved child, you are not an abandoned project. You are a masterpiece in progress. Even in seasons when you felt hidden, I was positioning you. Even in moments when you believed you were unseen, I was refining you. The delay you feared was rejection was actually alignment. Now you begin to see small signs of movement, small confirmations that something is shifting. These are reminders that I have been working all along. Do not let past feelings of invisibility shape your future expectations. Do not assume that because you waited once, you will always wait. The season is changing. You were never forgotten. Not in your pain, not in your confusion, not in your hope. I have carried your name in my heart from the beginning. I have held your story with care, and everything that has felt slow or silent is being woven into something meaningful. My beloved child, lift your head. The one who created you has never turned away. You were never forgotten, and you never will be. My beloved child, there is something you have been holding onto quietly, something heavy and persistent. It is not a burden someone else placed on you. It is one you placed on yourself. It is the memory of what you regret. You replay certain moments in your mind as if watching a scene you wish you could edit. Words you spoke in anger. Decisions made in fear. Opportunities missed because of hesitation. You revisit them and whisper, "If only I had known. If only I had chosen differently." But my beloved child, you are not meant to live chained to yesterday. You ask me for forgiveness, yet you struggle to receive it. You believe I can forgive others more easily than I can forgive you. You imagine that your mistakes require a longer sentence, a deeper penalty. You accept grace in theory, but resist it in practice. Listen to me carefully now. When I forgive, I do not hold a secret record against you. I do not bring up your past to shame you. I do not remind you of your failures to keep you small. Forgiveness is not partial. It is complete. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones, each one labeled with a regret. Every time you remember a mistake, you add another stone. The weight increases, and you grow tired, but you refuse to put it down because you believe carrying it proves you have learned your lesson. But growth does not require self-punishment. When you come to me with a sincere heart, acknowledging where you fell short, I do not respond with condemnation. I respond with mercy. I lift the stones from your shoulders. I set them aside. Yet sometimes after I remove them, you bend down and pick them up again. Why do you hold on to what I have already released? You tell yourself that if you forgive yourself too quickly, you might repeat the mistake. You believe that guilt keeps you careful. But guilt is not the same as wisdom. Wisdom teaches. Guilt traps. Wisdom moves you forward. Guilt keeps you circling the same memory. There is a difference between remembering a lesson and living inside the regret. My beloved child, you have grown. The version of you who made those choices is not the same as the person you are now. Experience has shaped you. Reflection has matured you. You see more clearly than you did before. Would you condemn a child for stumbling while learning to walk? Or would you guide them, encourage them, help them stand again? I am your father, not your accuser. Forgiveness is a doorway into freedom. When you receive it, you are not denying what happened. You are acknowledging that it no longer has the authority to define you. There are also times when you carry guilt for things that were never fully your fault. You blame yourself for outcomes that involved many factors beyond your control. You assume responsibility for other people's choices. My beloved child, release what was never yours to own. Receive the forgiveness I extend to you now. Let it wash over your memory. Let it soften the harsh tone you use against yourself. Let it quiet the voice that says you are disqualified from joy. You are not defined by your worst decision. You are not trapped by your past. You are not required to relive what I have already redeemed. Take a deep breath and imagine setting down every regret at my feet. See them there, no longer strapped to your back. Feel the lightness in your chest as the weight lifts. I do not forgive reluctantly. I forgive gladly. I restore eagerly. I call you forward, not backward. My beloved child, receive forgiveness fully. Walk in freedom. The past has been released. Now step into the grace that carries you onward. My beloved child, after forgiveness comes something beautiful and often unexpected, a new beginning. You have closed chapters in your life that did not end the way you hoped. Some endings felt abrupt. Others felt drawn out and painful. You may still be standing in the quiet after something significant has finished, unsure what comes next. There is an emptiness where something familiar once stood. But I want you to see this clearly. An ending is not the same as a final sentence over your life. It is a turning of the page. You sometimes cling to old chapters because they are known, even if they were difficult. At least you understood their rhythm. A new beginning feels uncertain. It requires you to step into something unwritten, and the unknown can feel intimidating. Yet every sunrise is proof that darkness does not last forever. When night falls, it can feel long and unchanging. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, light begins to return. The horizon shifts. Shadows soften. What was hidden becomes visible again. Morning does not argue with the night. It simply arrives. In the same way, new beginnings enter your life quietly at first. They do not always announce themselves with celebration. Sometimes they begin as a small shift in perspective, a renewed sense of possibility, a subtle courage rising in your heart. You may not feel fully ready for this new chapter. You might still be carrying memories from the last one. But readiness is not perfection. It is willingness. My beloved child, I specialize in renewal. I take what seemed broken beyond repair and breathe life into it. I take what felt wasted and transform it into wisdom. I take what looked like failure and reshape it into foundation. There are opportunities ahead that you have not yet imagined. There are relationships that will bring health instead of harm. There are ideas forming in your mind that hold seeds of purpose. The closing of one door has made space for another to open. Do not let fear of repeating the past prevent you from stepping into what is new. You are not the same person you were before. You carry more understanding now. You have learned from what hurt you. You have grown through what challenged you. The new beginning before you will not be approached with the same innocence or the same blindness. It will be approached with maturity. Sometimes you grieve what ended, even if it was not good for you. That grief is natural. It means you cared. But do not mistake grief for a signal to remain where you are. Feel it, release it, and allow yourself to move forward. Imagine standing at the edge of a field after winter has passed. The ground once looked barren. Trees once stood bare. But now there are small signs of life emerging, green shoots breaking through soil, buds forming on branches. The landscape is not fully transformed yet, but change has begun. That is where you are now. New beginnings rarely demand loud attention. They invite quiet trust. They ask you to take one step into fresh territory. They encourage you to believe that your story is still unfolding. My beloved child, do not define your future by your past. Do not assume that because something ended painfully, everything ahead will follow the same pattern. I am writing a new chapter with you. It is not rushed. It is not careless. It is intentional. Receive this new beginning with open hands. You do not need to see the entire picture. You only need to accept that this is not the end of your growth, your joy, or your purpose. The page has turned. The light is rising. Step forward into what is being made new. My beloved child, there is one quiet force that has tried again and again to block what I have sent to you. It does not shout loudly at first. It whispers. It questions. It plants small doubts that grow if left unchecked. That force is fear. Fear has many disguises. Sometimes it looks like caution. Sometimes it feels like wisdom. Sometimes it presents itself as protection. But beneath its many forms, fear carries one message: do not trust. Do not step forward. Do not receive fully. You have felt it when peace began to settle in your heart and a thought interrupted, saying, "This will not last." You have felt it when a new opportunity appeared and another voice asked, "What if you fail?" You have felt it when healing started and anxiety warned, "What if the pain returns?" Fear is not always dramatic. Often, it is subtle and persistent. Imagine standing at the edge of a clear, calm lake. The water is still. It reflects the sky above. You are invited to step in and feel its refreshment. But fear stands beside you and says, "What if it is deeper than it looks? What if you cannot swim? What if something unseen is beneath the surface?" And so you remain on the shore, thirsty yet unwilling to move. My beloved child, fear thrives on imagined outcomes. It builds entire stories from possibilities that have not happened. It takes a single uncertainty and multiplies it into catastrophe. But I have not sent fear into your spirit. The peace I send feels steady. The direction I send feels clear over time. The love I send feels grounding. Fear, in contrast, feels urgent and chaotic. It pushes you to retreat before you even test the waters. You think fear protects you from pain. In some ways it tries to. It reminds you of past disappointments so you will not repeat them. But when fear governs your decisions, it does more than protect. It limits. It shrinks your world. It keeps you from experiencing the fullness of what is available to you. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is movement despite fear. There were times in your life when you acted bravely even while afraid. You spoke up though your voice trembled. You tried again though you had failed before. You trusted someone though you had been hurt. Those moments were victories, not because fear was absent, but because it did not control you. My beloved child, fear will always try to stand at the doorway of new beginnings. It will question your worthiness. It will challenge your readiness. It will magnify risk. But you must decide whether fear will be your advisor or your observer. When fear speaks, do not panic. Do not condemn yourself for feeling it. Simply recognize it for what it is, a voice that does not have final authority. I am with you in every step forward. You are not leaping into emptiness. You are walking with me. Even if a path becomes difficult, you will not be abandoned there. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle. The first attempts are shaky. The possibility of falling is real. Fear whispers, "Stay still." But if the child never pedals, they never experience the joy of movement. The scraped knees heal. The lesson remains. And eventually balance comes. In the same way, you cannot fully receive what I have sent if you let fear hold the reins. My beloved child, I am not asking you to ignore risk or abandon wisdom. I am asking you to trust my presence more than your anxiety. When fear rises, return to the truth you have already heard. I have sent peace. I have sent strength. I have sent healing. I have opened doors. I have forgiven your past. I am leading you into new beginnings. Fear cannot cancel what I have declared. Stand firm. Breathe deeply. Take the step in front of you, even if it feels small. Receiving requires trust, and trust grows when you choose my voice over fear's whisper. My beloved child, there have been moments when you felt alone in ways you could not easily explain. Even in rooms full of people, you sensed a quiet distance within. Even while staying busy, a part of you wondered if anyone truly understood what you carried inside. In those moments, you may have also wondered where I was. I want you to hear this clearly. I am closer than you think. Closeness is not always measured by emotion. Sometimes you expect to feel me in overwhelming waves, in dramatic signs, in undeniable sensations. But my presence is often gentle and steady, like the air around you, unseen, yet essential to your very breath. You do not question whether the air is there because you cannot see it. You trust it because you live by it. In the same way, my nearness sustains you even when you are not consciously aware of it. There were times when you believed I had stepped back because circumstances became difficult. You assumed this struggle meant absence. But difficulty is not proof of distance. Sometimes it is in your hardest seasons that I am holding you most closely. Imagine a parent walking beside a child learning to navigate a crowded street. The parent may not always speak, but their hand is near, ready to steady, ready to guide. The child may feel uncertain, but they are not a company. My beloved child, I have never walked away from you. When you cried quietly in the dark, I was near. When you felt misunderstood and chose silence, I was near. When you doubted yourself and questioned your direction, I was near. Even when you turned away in frustration, I remained. There are subtle ways you have already experienced my closeness. A sense of comfort that came unexpectedly. A thought that calmed you in the middle of worry. A reminder of truth rising in your mind when negativity tried to overwhelm you. These were not random mental events. They were whispers of my presence. Sometimes you search for me in grand experiences while overlooking the small, consistent ways I sustain you. The strength to get out of bed when you felt low. The patience you found during a tense conversation. The resilience that carried you through a demanding day. My nearness often expresses itself through quiet support. You are never navigating life independently of me. Even in seasons when your faith feels thin, I am not measuring you by the intensity of your emotion. I am anchored to you by love, not by your performance. My closeness does not increase when you are confident nor decrease when you are uncertain. If you could see beyond what your eyes perceive, you would realize how intertwined your life is with my guidance. Doors that closed before harm reached you. Opportunities that appeared at precise moments. People who crossed your path when you needed encouragement. My fingerprints are present in more places than you recognize. My beloved child, loneliness often whispers that you are isolated, that no one understands, that you must carry everything alone. But loneliness is not the same as truth. You are seen. You are accompanied. You are supported in ways both visible and invisible. Right now, pause and become aware of your breathing. Feel the steady rhythm in your chest. That rhythm continues without your constant attention. In the same way, my presence continues without dramatic announcement. I am not distant. I am not distracted. I am not waiting far away for you to find your way back. I am here, closer than your next thought, closer than your next step, closer than the fears that try to convince you otherwise. My beloved child, you have never been alone, and you never will be. My beloved child, I have heard your prayers, not only the ones you spoke with confidence, but also the ones you whispered with uncertainty. I have listened to what you longed for, what you imagined, what you hoped would unfold in your life. And I want to gently tell you something that may stretch your understanding. What you asked for is being fulfilled, but it may not look exactly like what you expected. You often hold a picture in your mind of how answers should arrive. You imagine a clear path, immediate resolution, and outcomes that match your expectations step by step. But my ways of unfolding your life are often deeper than the picture you first formed. There are times when you prayed for change in one area, but I began working in another first. You asked for a situation to be resolved, but I began transforming you internally so that you could walk through it differently. You asked for clarity, but I first brought you into a place of trust where clarity would later make sense. This is not delay. This is design. My beloved child, I see the full landscape of your life, not just the part you are standing in right now. You see moments. I see the entire journey. You see a single chapter. I see the unfolding story. What feels like deviation to you is often preparation aligning you with something greater than your initial request. Think of a traveler asking for a straight road to a destination. But the safest and most meaningful path includes turns, pauses, and unexpected scenery. The traveler may question the route, yet each turn avoids danger, builds endurance, and reveals understanding that a straight path could never provide. In the same way, I am not ignoring your prayers. I am answering them in a way that protects your future and strengthens your foundation. There are also moments when I give you something better than what you asked for, but you do not recognize it immediately because it comes in unfamiliar form. You prayed for relief, and I began teaching you peace that remains even before circumstances change. You prayed for success, and I began shaping discipline and character that will sustain success when it arrives. You prayed for love, and I began healing the parts of you that struggled to receive love fully. Sometimes the answer is not only the outcome, but the transformation that makes the outcome meaningful. You may have noticed that certain desires you once held intensely now feel different. Not because they were wrong, but because you are different. Growth has shifted your understanding. Maturity has refined your perspective. What you needed then is being expanded into something deeper now. My beloved child, do not dismiss the process because it does not match your original expectation. Trust that I am not limited by your initial vision. I am shaping something more complete. There are prayers you will look back on and realize were answered in ways you did not recognize at first. There are closed doors that protected you from outcomes you could not yet see. There were delays that prevented harm and created space for preparation. Even now, I am aligning details you are not aware of. Conversations are being positioned. Opportunities are forming quietly. Your heart is being prepared to receive what you once thought you were waiting endlessly for. You are not forgotten in the process. You are being guided through it. I understand that waiting can challenge your patience. I understand that uncertainty can make you question whether anything is happening at all. But I assure you, nothing I have placed in motion for your good is wasted. My beloved child, release the pressure of expecting everything to unfold exactly as you imagined. Allow me to fulfill your prayers in ways that carry greater wisdom than your current understanding. What you asked for is not being denied. It is being fulfilled with depth, with timing, and with purpose that will one day make sense when you look back and see the full picture. Trust me even when the answer looks different. I am still the one who hears you, still the one who responds, still the one who knows what you truly need. My beloved child, there is a quiet place within you that has grown careful over time. Not closed completely, but guarded. A place that once opened freely, once trusted easily, once believed without hesitation. But life has touched that place with disappointment, and now you find yourself holding back just enough to avoid being hurt again. I understand why. You have experienced moments when openness led to pain. You have shared your heart and felt misunderstood. You have trusted and felt the weight of that trust shift into something heavy. So now you move carefully. You listen cautiously. You love with boundaries that feel safer. But my beloved child, I am inviting you to open your heart again. Not in reckless vulnerability. Not in blind exposure to what may harm you. But in the gentle courage of trusting that not everything ahead will repeat what you have already endured. You cannot receive fully while remaining partially closed. There are parts of my peace that only enter when your heart softens. There are depths of healing that only unfold when you allow yourself to feel again without constant defense. There are new beginnings waiting that require you to believe that goodness is still possible for you. I know the questions that rise inside you when you hear this. What if I open my heart and get hurt again? What if I trust and things fall apart? What if I hope and end up disappointed? Those questions are not foolish. They are the echoes of past experiences, but they are not the voice of your future. My beloved child, you are not returning to the same place you once were. You are not stepping into the same patterns without growth. You carry wisdom now. You carry awareness. You carry discernment that you did not have before. Think of a garden that has been through harsh seasons. The soil may have hardened, but beneath it, life still exists. With care, with patience, with light, that soil softens again. It becomes capable of receiving seeds once more. The damage does not erase its ability to grow. It simply requires gentle tending. That is what I am doing with your heart. I am not rushing you into vulnerability that overwhelms you. I am restoring your capacity to trust in stages. I am healing what made you cautious without removing the wisdom you gained through experience. To open your heart again does not mean forgetting what happened. It means refusing to let what happened define everything that comes next. You have become skilled at protecting yourself, but now I am teaching you how to live without constant bracing. There is a difference between discernment and fear. Discernment listens and learns. Fear shuts and restricts. I am calling you away from fear and into trust. There are relationships, opportunities, and moments ahead that require openness to be fully experienced. If you remain closed, even slightly, you will sense life passing near you without fully entering your spirit. But when you open your heart, even a little more, something shifts. You begin to notice joy again. You begin to recognize kindness without suspicion. You begin to receive love without immediately questioning its permanence. My beloved child, I am not asking you to ignore wisdom. I am asking you to release unnecessary defense. You do not need to predict every outcome to feel safe. You do not need to anticipate every possible disappointment to protect yourself. I am with you in ways that hold you even when you cannot control what comes next. Open your heart again, not because the world is perfect, but because you are no longer who you once were. Let trust grow slowly. Let hope return gently. Let peace find space again. I am not leading you into harm. I am leading you into wholeness. My beloved child, you have been standing near something that is already moving, yet at times you feel as if nothing is happening. You look at your life and see delays, pauses, and unanswered questions. But what you cannot always perceive is that beneath the surface, I have already set a flow in motion. The river is already flowing. You may think of your life as dry ground in certain areas, places where progress feels slow, where hope feels stretched, where outcomes seem distant. But rivers do not always announce themselves with noise. Some of the strongest currents move quietly beneath the surface before they are ever seen. I want you to understand that what you have been praying for is not being created from nothing right now. It has already begun moving toward you in ways you do not yet fully see. There are seasons when you feel stuck between where you were and where you are going. You are no longer the same as before, yet you have not fully arrived at what is next. That space can feel uncomfortable, even confusing. But it is not empty. It is movement you are learning to recognize. Think of a river carving its path through land over time. It does not force itself in a single moment. It persists. It gradually transforms everything in its way. What once looked like still ground becomes a channel of life and nourishment. My beloved child, I am shaping your path in the same way. You may not see sudden breakthroughs every day, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Growth often flows quietly. Change often begins internally before it is visible externally. I am working in layers you cannot yet measure. There are provisions already set in motion for you. There are connections already being aligned. There are opportunities already moving closer. What feels like waiting is often preparation meeting timing. You have been asking, when will things change? And I tell you, much has already begun changing, even if it has not yet reached its visible form. A river does not question whether it will reach the ocean. It simply continues moving. It trusts the path carved for it. In the same way, you are invited to trust the flow I have established for your life. There are times when you resist movement because you cannot yet see the destination. You want clarity before stepping forward. You want confirmation before trusting the process. But clarity often follows movement, not the other way around. My beloved child, do not confuse silence with stagnation. Do not assume that because something has not appeared yet, it is not coming. The unseen currents are often the strongest. I am guiding circumstances beyond your awareness. I am preparing paths that will meet you at the right moment. I am arranging what needs to align so that when the flow becomes visible, you will recognize that I have been working all along. Even within you, there is movement happening. Your thoughts are shifting. Your resilience is deepening. Your understanding is expanding. These are not small things. They are signs that you are already being carried forward. Sometimes you stand at the edge of change and hesitate because you cannot see every detail of what lies ahead. But rivers do not pause to map every turn. They trust the direction they are given. I am asking you to trust the flow I have placed in your life. Do not try to control every current. Do not resist movement because it feels unfamiliar. Let go of the need to understand everything at once. My beloved child, the river is already flowing toward you. What you need is not to create it, but to recognize it, step into it, and allow it to carry you forward. You are not abandoned in stillness. You are being moved with purpose. My beloved child, there are moments in your life that feel heavier than others. Not because I have left you, and not because you are unprepared, but because you are standing at the edge of something that requires courage you have not fully recognized within yourself. And I want you to know this clearly. I have already sent you courage for this exact moment. You do not have to search for it somewhere far away. You do not have to wait until you feel completely fearless. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is the presence of forward movement even while your heart is still learning to steady itself. You often think courage is something that arrives after fear disappears. But my beloved child, courage and fear often exist in the same space. What matters is not the absence of fear, but your willingness to move even while it is there. There are decisions in front of you that feel uncertain, steps that feel unfamiliar, changes that feel too large or too unpredictable. And in those moments, fear speaks loudly, trying to convince you that stillness is safer than movement. But I did not place you here to remain still out of fear. I placed courage within you before this moment even arrived. Long before you stood at this crossroads, I was preparing your spirit to handle it. You are not encountering something I did not foresee. You are walking into a moment I have already equipped you for. Think of a traveler who carries supplies they do not fully understand until they need them. At first, they may question why they were given certain tools or strength. But when the journey reaches a difficult terrain, they realize everything they were given had purpose. That is how courage works within you. It is not always visible until it is needed. But when the moment comes, it rises. You have already experienced traces of this courage before. Times when you thought you would not be able to continue, yet you did. Moments when you faced uncertainty and still chose to move forward. Those were not accidents of personality. They were evidence of what I placed inside you. My beloved child, do not underestimate what I have already built within your spirit. Courage does not always feel bold. Sometimes it feels like quiet persistence. Sometimes it feels like taking a small step when everything inside you wants to retreat. Sometimes it feels like speaking even when your voice shakes. Sometimes it feels like simply not giving up. Fear will always try to define the size of your limits. It will magnify the unknown. It will replay past disappointments. It will suggest that staying where you are is the safest option. But fear does not see what I see. I see the strength you have yet to discover. I see the growth already unfolding. I see the path ahead, not as something to fear, but as something to walk with me. You do not need to wait for courage to feel loud or overwhelming. You only need to recognize that it is already present, even in small forms. Right now, in this very moment, courage is the quiet voice that says, "Try again." It is the gentle nudge that says, "Take the next step." It is the inner assurance that says, "You are not alone in this." My beloved child, I did not send you into this season without preparation. I did not bring you to this point without provision. I have already placed within you everything needed to move forward. You may still feel hesitation, and that is okay. But do not mistake hesitation for incapability. You are capable, even while you are cautious. You are strong, even while you are unsure. Let courage rise within you now, not as a dramatic surge, but as a steady willingness to move with me. This is your moment, and I have already sent what you need to walk through it. My beloved child, there is a story you have been repeating to yourself for far too long. Not always with words spoken out loud, but in thoughts that return in quiet moments. A story shaped by past mistakes, disappointments, and moments when things did not go the way you hoped. And I want you to hear me clearly. That story is not your identity anymore. You have been living as if the version of you that was hurt, confused, or unprepared is still the final version of who you are. But you are not the same person who went through those earlier chapters. You have grown. You have learned. You have been shaped in ways you do not fully recognize yet. The old story says, you are always behind. The old story says, you will fail again. The old story says you are not enough. The old story says, things never work out for you. But I did not speak those words over your life. Those are echoes, not truth. My beloved child, when you continue to live inside the old story, you begin to interpret every new moment through its lens. Even when something good happens, the old story whispers that it will not last. Even when progress appears, it tells you it is temporary. Even when love approaches, it questions its sincerity. That is how the past quietly tries to govern the present. But I am calling you out of that narrative. Imagine someone carrying a worn-out book everywhere they go. The pages are filled with painful memories, failures, and outdated descriptions of who they were. They read it so often that they forget they are no longer living inside it. Meanwhile, a new book is being written, filled with growth, redemption, and new beginnings. But they refuse to open it because they are still clinging to the old one. My beloved child, you cannot step fully into what I am writing now while holding tightly to what has already ended. Letting go of the old story does not mean denying what happened. It means refusing to let it define everything that comes after. You are allowed to outgrow what once described you. You are allowed to move beyond patterns that used to shape you. You are allowed to see yourself differently than you did in your most difficult season. There are moments when you replay past decisions and imagine alternative outcomes. You think, if I had done this differently, maybe everything would be better now. But that way of thinking keeps you tied to a version of life that no longer exists. I am not asking you to erase memory. I am asking you to release its authority. You are no longer bound to the identity formed in your lowest moments. You are being reshaped by every step you take forward, even now. My beloved child, the story I am writing with you is not defined by failure. It is defined by transformation. It is not centered on what went wrong, but on what is being restored. When you let go of the old story, you create space for new understanding. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You begin to interpret challenges as growth rather than punishment. You begin to recognize that I have been working even in the chapters you thought were wasted. There is freedom waiting for you in this release. Not because your past disappears, but because it loses its power to define your future. Right now, I am inviting you to lay the old story down. Not with fear, not with regret, but with trust that what comes next is not repetition, but renewal. You are not who you used to be, and your life is not what it used to be either. Let the old story end where it belongs, and step into the one I am writing now. My beloved child, I know it often feels like you are waiting for answers, waiting for clarity, waiting for change, waiting for life to finally align in a way that makes sense to you. But I want to gently shift your understanding in this moment. You are not only waiting, you are becoming. There is a difference between standing still in emptiness and being shaped in preparation. What you call delay, I call development. What you call pause, I call formation. What you call uncertainty, I call unfolding. You look at your life and sometimes measure it by what has not yet happened. You compare where you are with where you thought you would be by now. And in that comparison, you feel behind. You feel stuck. You feel like something is missing. But I see something very different. I see growth that does not always announce itself. I see strength forming quietly beneath pressure. I see wisdom taking root through experience. I see a version of you emerging that could not be formed in easier seasons. My beloved child, becoming is not always comfortable. Think of a sculptor shaping stone. From the outside, it looks like nothing meaningful is happening at first. There's only pressure, chiseling, refining. But slowly, with intention, something beautiful begins to emerge from what once looked unshaped. The process requires time. It requires patience. It requires trust in what is not yet visible. That is what is happening within you. You are not static. You are not forgotten in a holding place. You are being formed. There are qualities being built inside you right now that you will later recognize as essential. Patience that steadies you in future storms. Compassion that allows you to understand others more deeply. Discernment that helps you recognize what aligns with your purpose and what does not. These are not sudden gifts. They are cultivated over time. Sometimes you wish I would hurry the process. You want clarity before growth, answers before transformation, arrival before development. But if everything came before you were ready, you would not be able to sustain it. My beloved child, I am not delaying your life. I am preparing you for it. There are things you are praying for that require the version of you that is still being formed. There are opportunities ahead that will only fit the person you are becoming, not the person you were yesterday. Even now, in the middle of uncertainty, you are changing. Your perspective is shifting. Your strength is deepening. Your understanding is expanding. You may not always notice it, but I do. You are not the same person who began this journey, and you will not be the same person who finishes it. Becoming also means that some things are falling away. Old fears that once controlled you are losing their grip. Old patterns that once defined your reactions are beginning to loosen. Old limitations you placed on yourself are starting to dissolve. This is part of transformation. You may feel tension in this process because becoming requires release. It requires letting go of who you thought you had to be in order to survive. It requires trusting that who you are becoming is enough. My beloved child, I am not rushing you because I see what you are becoming with clarity you do not yet have. When you feel like nothing is happening, remember this truth: something is always happening within you. The waiting you feel is not wasted time. It is shaping time. It is refining time. It is preparing time. And one day, when you look back, you will understand that this season was not about delay at all. It was about formation. So do not despise the process. Do not measure yourself only by arrival points. Honor the becoming. You are not waiting to become someone worthy of your future. You are already becoming the one who is ready for it. My beloved child, I want to show you something important about the way my blessings move in your life. You often think of blessings as something that simply arrives while you wait passively, as if everything I have prepared will unfold without your involvement. But there is a deeper truth I want you to understand. The blessing I send often requires your participation. This does not mean you earn it. It does not mean you must prove your worth or complete yourself before receiving it. My love is not transactional. My grace is not conditional. But the unfolding of what I have placed before you often calls for your response. Think of it like a door that is already unlocked. The opening hath been prepared. The path has been made accessible, but you still must choose to walk through it. You still must take the step forward. You still must turn the handle, not because the door is closed, but because movement is part of receiving. My beloved child, I do not withhold good things from you, but I also do not override your will in a way that removes your partnership in your own becoming. There are moments when you pray for change, yet hesitate when change begins to appear. You ask for new beginnings, yet feel uncertain when they require you to leave familiar patterns. You long for growth, but also resist the discomfort that sometimes comes with it. And I understand that tension within you. But I want you to see that many of the blessings you are waiting for are already within reach, waiting for your agreement, your willingness, your step. Imagine standing by a riverbank with a bridge already built across it. The structure is strong. The way forward is secure. Yet you remain on the shore, wondering if you are allowed to cross. The bridge does not move closer. It waits in place. What is needed is not more construction, but your decision to walk across. My beloved child, faith is not passive waiting. Faith is active trust. When I speak of participation, I am speaking of your willingness to respond to what I have already placed in motion. It may be a decision you have been avoiding. It may be a step you have been afraid to take. It may be a change in mindset that challenges old comfort zones. You do not walk alone in this. I walk with you. But I do not walk for you in a way that removes your growth. There are areas in your life where you have been asking me to move mountains, while I have been inviting you to take the next step forward. Sometimes the miracle you are waiting for is already present in the form of an opportunity you have not yet embraced. My beloved child, do not confuse hesitation with humility. Do not confuse fear with wisdom. Not every pause is discernment. Sometimes it is uncertainty disguised as caution. I am not asking you to rush. I am not asking you to act without thought. I am inviting you to align with what I have already prepared. There is a rhythm between my provision and your participation. I open doors. I guide paths. I prepare outcomes. But I also invite your willingness to move and trust. Even now, there are small steps you already sense you should take. Gentle nudges in your spirit. These are not random feelings. They are part of how I guide you forward. My beloved child, do not wait for everything to feel completely certain before you move. Clarity often grows as you walk, not before. The blessing I have sent is not distant. It is already near you, but it unfolds more fully as you step into alignment with it. So take the step. Respond to the nudge. Open your hands where I am calling you to receive. I am with you in every part of it, and what I have prepared for you will meet you as you move forward in trust. My beloved child, there is a moment within every journey with me where everything begins to shift, not because circumstances instantly change, but because your heart quietly agrees with what I am doing. That moment is simple, yet deeply powerful. It is when you say yes in your spirit. You may think saying yes is only about words spoken aloud, but I am speaking of something deeper than speech. I am speaking of alignment. A soft surrender within you that says, even if I do not understand everything, I will trust you. Even if I cannot see the full path, I will not resist what you are leading me into. There are many places in your life where I have already extended invitations. Invitations to peace instead of constant anxiety. Invitations to healing instead of carrying old wounds. Invitations to new beginnings instead of staying bound to what has already ended. Invitations to step forward instead of remaining stuck in hesitation. But my beloved child, I do not force your agreement. Love does not coerce. Love invites. And so I wait for your yes. Not a perfect yes. Not a fearless yes. Not a fully confident yes. But an honest yes. A willing yes. The yes that rises even in the middle of uncertainty. You often believe that your life will change only when everything around you changes. But I tell you this, transformation begins when something within you agrees with my hand upon your life. Think of a seed placed in the soil. It does not grow because it sees the entire future. It grows because it responds to what has already been placed within it. The yes of the seed is not spoken, but lived. It breaks open, not because it understands everything ahead, but because it trusts the process it was created for. My beloved child, there are parts of you that have been holding back, not out of rebellion, but out of fear. Fear of disappointment, fear of loss, fear of stepping into something unfamiliar. And I understand that hesitation. I see where it comes from. But I am not asking you to step into uncertainty alone. I am asking you to step into it with me. Your yes in your spirit does not remove all questions. It simply chooses trust over resistance. It says, I will not close myself off to what you are doing in my life. There are doors I have already opened that remain unopened in your experience, because your heart has not fully agreed to walk through them. There are healing moments waiting that require your willingness to release what you have been holding tightly. There are new directions already prepared that require your inner agreement before they fully unfold. My beloved child, your yes is powerful not because it changes my intentions, but because it allows you to receive them fully. You have spent time in hesitation, weighing outcomes, imagining possibilities, trying to protect yourself from disappointment. But in doing so, you have also delayed some of the peace and clarity I have already made available. A divided heart struggles to move forward, but a heart that says yes, even quietly, begins to find rest in movement. Right now, I am not asking you to solve everything. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to soften the resistance within and allow trust to rise. Say yes to healing, even if it feels slow. Say yes to peace, even if your surroundings are still unsettled. Say yes to direction, even if you only see one step ahead. Say yes to becoming, even if you do not yet recognize the full picture. My beloved child, I am not distant from your process. I am present in it, and your yes allows you to walk with me rather than against the flow I have already established. Let your spirit agree with what I am doing. Let your heart open to what I am sending. Let your inner voice shift from hesitation to quiet trust. This is where movement begins again. Say yes, and you will begin to see that what I have prepared has been waiting not for perfection, but for willingness. My beloved child, I want you to understand something about the moment you finally allow yourself to receive what I have been sending. It is not a small moment. It is not unnoticed. It is not overlooked in silence. It is celebrated. When you open your heart to my peace, heaven rejoices. When you accept the strength I have placed within you, heaven rejoices. When you release fear and step into trust, heaven rejoices. When you finally say yes and allow yourself to receive, it is not only your life that shifts, but something greater responds with joy. You often think of your journey as something you walk through alone, measured only by what you feel and experience in private. But there is more happening around you than what your eyes can see. Your moments of surrender are not invisible. Your moments of trust are not forgotten. Your moments of acceptance are not ignored. There is joy over every step you take toward me. My beloved child, I do not delight in your struggle. I do not rejoice in your pain. But I rejoice when you begin to receive life instead of resisting it. I rejoice when your heart opens instead of closing. I rejoice when you step out of fear and into the space where I can fully meet you. Think of a parent who has prepared something meaningful for a child, not out of obligation, but out of love. The moment the child finally accepts it, the moment their hands reach out with trust instead of hesitation, there is joy. Not because the gift itself changed, but because the relationship deepened. In the same way, your receiving is not only about what you gain. It is about connection. It is about trust restored. It is about alignment between what I give and what you are willing to embrace. You have spent time questioning whether it is safe to receive good things, whether peace will last, whether love will remain, whether direction will hold steady. Those questions are understandable because of what you have experienced before. But I am not the reflection of past disappointments. When you receive from me, you are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into what I have already established for your good. My beloved child, there are moments when you hold back even when everything within you longs to move forward. You hesitate not because you do not want the gift, but because you are unsure of its permanence. Yet I am inviting you to see that what I give you is not temporary or fragile in the way you fear. When you receive my peace, it does not vanish at the first sign of difficulty. When you receive my strength, It does not disappear in weakness. When you receive my love, it does not withdraw when you struggle. These are not conditional gifts. They are sustaining gifts. And heaven rejoices when you begin to live as though you believe that. There is celebration over your freedom from fear. There is joy over your release from heaviness. There is delight when you stop resisting what has already been prepared for you and begin to walk in it. My beloved child, you do not need to earn this joy. You simply need to receive what is already being offered. Even now, there are unseen moments aligning in your favor. There are shifts happening in your life that you cannot yet fully perceive. And as you continue to open your heart, you will begin to notice the fruit of that alignment. Do not underestimate the power of simply receiving. It is not passive. It is not insignificant. It is an act of trust that changes everything. Heaven rejoices not because you are perfect, but because you are finally allowing yourself to be held, guided, and loved without resistance. And in that place of receiving, you will discover a joy that does not depend on circumstances, but on the presence that has never left you. My beloved child, I want to settle something within you that has been restless for far too long. You have searched, waited, questioned, and listened for confirmation that you are not alone in what you are sensing, what you are feeling, and what you are hoping for. And now I speak to you with clarity. This is your confirmation. Not tomorrow. Not somewhere far ahead. Not in a distant moment when everything becomes obvious. Right now. In this very unfolding, in these very words, in this very awareness rising within you. You have asked for assurance that you are being guided. You have asked for clarity that your path is not random. You have asked for reassurance that what you feel stirring inside you is not imagination. And I am telling you, my beloved child, you are not lost. You are being led. There are moments in your life when you expect confirmation to come through signs that are loud, undeniable, and external. You look for dramatic shifts, unmistakable events, or overwhelming certainty. But often, confirmation comes as a quiet settling within your spirit, a recognition, a self-alignment, a deep sense that what you are hearing is not separate from what I am already doing in you. You have been asking, is this the right direction? And I have been answering through peace that lingers longer than confusion. You have been asking, am I making the right decisions? And I have been answering through inner conviction that returns even after doubt tries to disturb it. You have been asking, am I alone? And I have been answering through presence that continues even when everything else feels uncertain. My beloved child, confirmation is not always something outside you. Often, it is something awakening within you. Think of a compass. It does not shout. It does not change your direction based on emotion. It simply aligns with what is true. Even when surroundings are unfamiliar, it quietly points toward what is steady. In the same way, I have placed within you a sense of alignment that responds to truth, even when fear tries to distort it. You are not imagining the shifts you feel. You are not overthinking every impression. You are becoming more aware of how I guide you gently, consistently, and personally. There have been times when you hesitated because you were waiting for one more sign, one more reassurance, one more external validation. But I want you to recognize that delay is often not due to lack of guidance, but due to hesitation to trust what has already been revealed in small, steady ways. My beloved child, I am not withholding clarity from you. I am inviting you to recognize it in the ways I am already speaking. You are not starting from confusion. You are starting from guidance. You are learning to notice more deeply. Even now, the fact that these words resonate within you is not random. It is confirmation of connection. It is confirmation that you are not walking blind. It is confirmation that your journey is not disconnected from my presence. Do not dismiss the quiet assurance growing inside you. Do not overlook the peace that follows truth. Do not ignore the sense of alignment that rises when you are moving in step with what I am shaping. My beloved child, confirmation is not always about removing every question. Sometimes it is about giving you enough clarity to take the next step with trust. You may not see the entire road ahead, but you have enough light for today. You have enough understanding for this moment. You have enough presence to move forward without fear defining your pace. I am confirming my nearness. I am confirming my guidance. I am confirming my involvement in your life in ways both seen and unseen. This is not confusion speaking to you. This is not coincidence shaping your thoughts. This is confirmation that you are held, known, and led. Receive it not as something distant, but as something already present within you. This is your confirmation, my beloved child, and you are not alone in it. My beloved child, as you continue on this path with me, there is something I want you to learn how to carry differently. Not with strain, not with anxiety, not with the pressure of trying to hold everything together on your own strength, but with trust, with quiet assurance, with steady remembrance. Hold on to this promise. You will need it in moments when clarity feels distant again. You will need it when emotions fluctuate and questions return. You will need it when circumstances seem uncertain and your heart feels tempted to forget what you have heard here. My beloved child, I do not speak to you only for the moment you are in right now. I speak to you for the moments ahead where memory will matter more than emotion. There will be days when feelings feel loud and truth feels far away. And in those moments, what you choose to hold on to will shape your peace. That is why I am anchoring this within you now. I have sent you peace that does not depend on stability around you. I have sent you strength that rises in weakness. I have sent you healing that continues even when you do not feel it immediately. I have sent you direction that unfolds step by step. I have sent you love that does not withdraw. I have opened doors that are already waiting for your movement. And I have confirmed my presence in your life in ways that are deeper than circumstance. Hold on to this, not as a fragile thought that disappears when life becomes noisy again, but as something rooted within you. Something you return to when uncertainty tries to rise again. You have been through seasons where forgetting my promises felt easier than remembering them. In moments of pressure, your mind has sometimes defaulted to fear instead of truth. I understand that. But I am teaching you a new way of holding what I give you, not through mental effort alone, but through trust that is practiced over time. My beloved child, promise is not just spoken for today. It is meant to carry you. There will be times when you feel like you are walking through unfamiliar ground again. Times when progress feels slow. Times when silence feels long. But even then, what I have spoken over your life does not change. What I have sent to you is not temporary. It is not dependent on your emotional consistency. It is anchored in my intention for you. So when confusion rises, return here. When fear whispers, return here. When doubt begins to question what you know deep within your spirit, return here. Hold on to this promise that you are not abandoned in process. You are not overlooked in waiting. You are not forgotten in transition. There is a thread of continuity running through your life that you may not always see clearly, but it is there. It is my hand holding your story together even when you feel uncertain about the next page. My beloved child, I am not asking you to hold everything. I am asking you to hold on to what I have already placed in you. Let this promise become a place of return in your heart, a place where you breathe again, A place where you remember that I am still with you, still guiding you, still unfolding what I have spoken. And when you forget, as you sometimes will, do not condemn yourself. Simply return again, because I have not moved away from you. Hold on to this promise, not with fear of losing it, but with trust that it is holding you just as much as you are holding it. My beloved child, we have come to the final part of this message, but what I have placed within you does not end here. It continues beyond this moment, beyond this screen, beyond what you can immediately see or feel. I want you to understand something deeply as we close. Everything I have spoken to you has already been sent. Now the invitation is simple. Receive it. You do not need to reach for more words. You do not need to search for another sign. You do not need to wonder if I have changed my heart toward you. I have not. What I am giving you now is not new in intention, but complete in reminder. Peace hath been sent to you. Strength hath been sent to you. Healing hath been sent to you. Direction has been sent to you. Love hath been sent to you. And now I ask you to let it settle within you. There is a quiet moment I want you to recognize. It is the moment when striving stops and trust begins. When your spirit no longer fights to understand everything, but rests in what has already been revealed. That is the place of receiving. That is the place I have been leading you toward from the beginning of this message. My beloved child, I am not far from you. I have not withdrawn. I have not ignored your prayers. I have not overlooked your tears. Every part of your journey hath been seen, held, and carried with intention. Even now, I am with you in what comes next. So breathe. Let go of the pressure to figure everything out today. Let go of the fear that you are behind. Let go of the belief that you are alone in what you face. You are not. You never have been. Receive what I have already placed in your life, not as something you must earn, but as something you are allowed to embrace. Let it become real in you, not just something you heard, but something you live from this moment forward. And now, my beloved child, before we end this message, I want to speak to those who feel moved to respond to what they have received. If this word has brought peace into your heart, if it has reminded you that you are not alone, then do not ignore that stirring. Let it become action rooted in love and trust. As I have poured into you, I now invite you to pour back into the work that carries this message forward to others who are still searching in silence. When you choose to support through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and visible through the QR code, you are not simply giving. You are participating in the spread of light to hearts that are still waiting to hear that they are seen. I speak to you not as pressure but as invitation. Give, and it will be given to you, and I declare that promise over your life as living truth. Let your giving be a response to what you have received, a seed placed in trust that will continue to multiply comfort for others. I bless every hand that gives, every heart that responds, and every soul that chooses to align with this mission of hope. I release peace over your life, provision into your journey, and clarity into your next steps. My beloved child, now walk forward in what you have received. Do not leave it here. Carry it with you. Lie from it. Rest in it. You are held, you are known, and you are deeply loved. Now receive it. Amen.